Hi, I'm Carrie, and this is Jasmine. We work with the Muskegon County Library System. Today, we're here to talk about virtual board and card gaming. In creating this tutorial, I'm going to assume that you do not own any board or card games at home and want only games that you can access online or play without purchasing access to a website or an app. There are a ton of options if you do have games or a printer at home, which is why I've included a resource document with all the websites and apps I use to find this information. Remember, you are only limited by your ingenuity. So first off, let's go over some of the leading chat programs for audio and video chat. These are most often used. So Discord, Zoom, like what we're using currently, Google Meet, Facebook Messenger, FaceTime, whatever is most convenient for your phone or computer. The Discord is a chat that allows you to type or share your screen. You can share audio and video, and that doesn't require that you download a program onto your computer. It does require you download the app, of course, but you can use that as well as Zoom just in browser. So no extra things for your computer to be bogged down by if you have an older computer. So I'm gonna show you guys my screen right now. Let's see. And then, so you can see what I'm doing here. So this is the screen that I've got up. You can see across the top that a couple different options come up. We're gonna go back over to our Zoom by selecting pause share. All right. And that didn't work at all. Stop share maybe. There we go. All right, so now I'm gonna hand it over to Jasmine. Let's see, Zoom is new to me too. I'm sorry, guys. All right, so when we go back over, you can say make host for Jasmine, which would be very useful for when you're gaming and you want someone else to share what's going on in their screen. So take it away, Jasmine.
Okay. Yeah, you can change your share screen options so you can let multiple people do it at once, or you can even only let certain people do it under the advanced sharing options. So that's pretty neat. So
Chat.
We're going to look at the chat options or how to invite somebody.
Yes.
Okay. So at the very bottom of your Zoom screen, you're going to have a couple of different options. And there's security, participants, and participants is where you want to go to invite somebody. So then in the participant screen, it will show you who's in there right now. So there's me and Carrie, and then right under that, there are some buttons, and invite is one of them. So you'll click on that, and it will give you couple of different things you can put in. If you have any contacts in your Zoom, you can invite them that way, or you can copy your invite link and email it to the person that you want to be in your Zoom meeting. And then once they have the link, they can come into your meeting.
All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and reclaim the host so you see what my screen is again. And I'm going to go on to some of our other basics of virtual gaming. So these are instructions that came from BoardGameGeek suggestions. All right, so the basics of virtual gaming from the BoardGameGeek's website, which they released at the start of quarantine. So as a general rule of thumb, games with a few components work best. Ones without hidden information like hands of cards or that require some physical interaction. Yeah, it's kind of obvious. So party games that focus on social aspects and require no components or basic ones kind of lend themselves to video calls. That said, games with boards or components, while trickier, can be played by the game owner, keeping their camera focused on the board and play area. For these games to really shine, playing together through board game websites or apps may give the best overall experience. So I'm going to give you some tips for when you're doing gaming over video. So try not to move the camera. This can be disorienting for people and is rarely worth doing. So if I sit here and move my camera, that's gonna start messing with you, won't it? Instead of bringing components to, instead bring components to the camera and set up the camera to focus on the play area. So for instance, I have a game here that I'm going to show you like this. Here are some other tips. Don't be afraid to tweak the rules to provide a better distant gaming experience. Consider your audience. Being inclusive is best. Just pick something that works best for your group. Play games where people can drop in and out frequently. That is also a good thing to do. And having teams allows people to do that. So that way, if you have younger people or busier people or less interested players, they can just quietly slip away from the chat and the game. And then if possible, delegate any physical activity like dice rolling to some remote players. And have a host who is in charge of keeping the game moving and responding efficiently to remote players' requests. So I am going to go ahead and show you one of the really cool things that I have found on Google, which is a dice roller. So here you can go ahead and add dice and it will roll for you. This would be super useful if you already have a set of Yahtzee. I played this earlier and got a really good hand. So look at that, that's not too bad. So you can also get rid of dice after you bring them up. It has everything, D20s, D12s, 10s, 8s, 4s, whatever your game components require, you can actually use an online dice roller for those who don't have dice at home. There are quite a lot of other functions though Google provides, like a spinner, which is super fun to play. And they also have a fidget spinner if you guys want to check that out, if you are into playing with fidgets. There is also a coin flipping mechanism that it has where you can go ahead and flip a coin. All right, so next I'm going to move on to games that you can play. So these games that we can play easily are games like charades, which are defined as indoor games, especially word games. So charades, I'm going to show you an app that you can install, and you can actually play this while on Zoom. And then I'm going to bring mine up here. And then in order for me to block my camera, which you guys won't be able to see, I'm going to go ahead and block what I can see. So I cannot see what I'm doing right now. So I'm not cheating. You will notice though, sometimes with your cameras, you can see the reflection in your screen. Don't look too close if you're playing games like charades. So this actually, can you see this okay, Jazz?
Yeah, the background's kind of blurring it a little bit, but when you put it up to your face, it works pretty good.
Oh, yeah. Great. Okay. So while it's up to my face, I'm going to just have that open. There is a function on here that allows you to create your own deck of games. If you do that, I would suggest having everyone send their things to one person, a host, so that you guys don't know the answers. Shout it out ahead of time. Okay, so because that's kind of cheating and less fun. Let's see. So we're going to go quick play, and I like movies, so we're going to do movies. I know. All right, it's on my forehead. What is? Are you good? Is it starting?
It says place one forehead.
Mm-hmm.
Get ready. Okay. So if you fall on the ground, like if there's a pit, then it's
a crevasse.
or if like a box, or like if you're in the jungle and like a big box like falls over your head.
Caged?
Yes, but
it's a caged bird sings?
No.
I don't
know.
Okay, we're gonna pass that one. Okay, what's next?
Oh, okay. So So everybody's like up in the air on this big vehicle, and there's
On
all
air?
animals everywhere.
There's animals everywhere.
They're long and slithery
Okay.
on this.
Snakes on a plane.
Yes,
Yeah. Okay, so then you go like that.
correct.
And then does it bring up another one or did we run out of time?
Thinking. I think we must have ran out of time. It's not.
Okay. Well, it loaded. It was Pulp Fiction, by the way. I would have had trouble guessing that one. All right, so that's just an example of a way that you can play a game on here. Some other games you can play really easily are 20 questions. So that doesn't take any tech, just conversation between people. The active player selects a thing and then we ask them yes or no questions until we get it wrong or right. So there's also games like Categories, which is also called Guggenheim. That would require a paper and writing utensil, piece of paper. So a player nominates a category such as food and then selects a letter at random. P, what's a pea food?
Pear.
Pear. I would have gone for pizza. And then players have a set time limit to come up with as many matching answers. Matching answers are then shared with any duplicates removed, and only unique answers score. So that's a pretty fun one. Okay, so the next thing you could consider doing is hosting a quiz. You can find lots of different quizzes online. I suggest finding fun theme ones, Star Wars quizzes, those are endless. There are loads of apps that you can use to make this experience better. I included a link on my resource document that has the best trivia apps of 2020. There are several that allow you to create your own quizzes, but unfortunately quite a few of those require payment after a trial period. I've used Kahoot with work, so I'm going to go ahead and show you guys what that one looks like. If I can find it. All right, so we're gonna get rid of charades. Kahoot, so this is one of the quizzes that I created. You can see how it's played. You can present it. Anywho, the only downside with this website is that it often asks you to upgrade and it can get a little bit disorienting. So, but if you look here, we can do classic, and then what you do is you share this code with your players and then they log in and create a name. So what's nice is that they require you to verify the name on this app, so you can't have people putting in really nasty crap in there unless you're okay with that. Another game that you can play is Reverse Pictionary. Let's see this. All right, so Reverse Pictionary, that is a game where one player describes an object and the other players draw it. And when you know what it is, you shout it out. If you get it wrong, you're out of the round. My favorite that I found while I was researching for this is Eat Poop You Cat. So this is a fun game like telephone. Let's see, I would suggest that you use your phone for this game and take a snapshot of the image or sentence and then send that in a message to the next person. So that one, you wouldn't actually have to be participating in a video chat. You could just send it throughout the workday. So if you work from home or if you've got kids at different places, you know, that kind of thing. One of the things you'd want to do is assign each of the sentences a number so that when they send on their answer to the next person, they have a number assigned with it. So here, let me describe the game so you know what I'm talking about. All right, so each player starts with a piece of paper and pencil, and or in this case, you can just put it on an image. And they write a sentence. Then they pass the paper or image or sentence to the next player. The next player then draws out what they think the best depiction of the sentence. Then they pass that on to the next person, and the next person tries to figure out what that sentence says, and so on and so forth, if that makes sense. So this continues until all players have their original number paper back. And then at the end, all players can just share their answers. And then that's how you end up with I am the walrus, cuckoo, cuckoo becomes Hitler and I dance the night away in a disco. You know, so I thought that was a really great game to play. So we also found some card and board games that are entirely online for free. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen again so you guys can see that. This is playingcards.io. This is a really fun website. It lets you play basic card games. If card games are your thing, this is your site. So if you look at some of the aspects of it, other people can see you moving while you're moving the items across the page, that kind of thing, and then you send them a room code to join. I'm going to go ahead and go down to this really neat function, and that is the other custom. So I'm going to go ahead and start this game. This allows you to create your own custom games. So when you come up, you can edit this table, and then you can say, I want to remove the deck. I want to add some goofy pieces, move these around. Just kidding, I want a Spanish deck. And so on and so forth. I like the spinner right here. And I think on the other one, I also have a counter so you can count how many rounds you've been playing. And then when you're done editing, you click that, and look, I've got all this junk up on here. All right, so we were previously playing a game called Joking Hazard. And this is a game created by Cyanide and Happiness Comics. And Jasmine and I are going to go ahead and demonstrate how to play it. So for this game, you have a draw deck where you draw 7 different cards, and you can see her moving around. So go ahead and draw a card or two. I cannot see what she's drawing until she clicks them to come up. See, and there's a butt. And so for this game, you have 3 panels to make a comic. And what you do is you draw one from the deck, which I've already done. And then you take one from your hand, which I've already done. And then everybody goes ahead and submits their own card to complete the comic. So let's see what we have here. So glad I'm finally out of that coma. And then it has the green guy attacking him. So we can see, would that work well? My robo companion is functioning perfectly. And that thought bubble looks really funny. Ah, what a lovely day. And that's great to hear. I think this one is the funniest. So I'm going to say that person wins this round, and I'm going to give them one of the cards. And Jazz, I think you were player 2 when we were playing before. You can see that they've won 2-point cards. So now that I'm done with these, I'm just going to go ahead and put them into the discard. So it's as easy as that. All right. And then, so the next one I'd like to point out with this game, okay, before we move on, that Joking Hazard has a lot of content that would be considered inappropriate for small children. So that is a reason to use the website BoardGameGeek. We were just randomly going through the deck and noticed that there were some joking hazards that might be hazardous to those under 16. As you can see on BoardGameGeek, they have an age that they suggest for the game, and then the community suggests age 16. It also tells you how many players you can do, and the community suggests how many players work best for this game. And then it tells you how complex it is. So this one isn't very complex. So if you are looking up any games and you question all the content or whether or not it's appropriate for your group, I would suggest going to BoardGameGeek and seeing what it suggests for the age and complexity. All right, well, since Jasmine likes Yahtzee, I decided to include this fun game that you can play while just chatting away. She can get on there and play with me instead of Bill. I just like Bill. And then, of course, if you notice, it gives you the rules as you do it. I'm going to keep these 4s, even though that's terrible. No. Okay, I got 3 4s. Yay! That was terrible. All right, but when she gets on there, you can see that more people will pop up with their name. And you can select to play with them. One of my favorite card games is Dominion, and there is a website called Dominion Online. I'm just going to show you this briefly, where you can go to a table, you can go over to matching and just play with a computer to get started. And then if you notice over here, it has spots like where you can see what all of these cards mean. So if I know that I have 4 money to spend, then I want 1 card and 1 action. So I'm going to go ahead and purchase that card, that kind of thing. And it has chat for when you don't want to turn on your video chat or audio chat with people. So you can just type back and forth to whoever you're playing with. Oh, and a nice little name. So yeah, this is a really fun game, which we actually have a physical copy of in the library. Here, I'm just gonna go ahead. And the robots' names are really funny. Lord Raddington. Oh, I do have 4 money. Look at that. So what I'm going to do is I can autoplay treasures, or I can click on them one at a time if I want to be painfully slow about this. And then I'm gonna buy a poacher. So the rules of this game is you're trying to create a deck and get as many victory points in the corner as possible. And you do that by buying these cards. And then we're gonna autoplay these. Here we go. Let's see, what's the best one? That allows me to automatically gain a card. So I'm gonna go ahead and get a workshop. I was just showing you guys how to play this one. I would take some time and do a tutorial on it that is a little bit more in depth, but that's a quick show of it. So Scattergories, are you a fan of Scattergories, Jasmine?
I don't know if I've ever played that before.
Okay, well that's another one that you can play with friends on Zoom by getting together and just sharing your screen. So you can see what's on my screen. I've got the letter A category, let's see, and it'll show you all the categories, which you can then edit if you want. And it gives you a set time, and you hit play, and everybody comes up with all of the things that they can think of for a certain category within that time frame. So that's a pretty easy one. There is another game that I wanted to share that is called Catan. So, but I'm going to go into that a little bit more when I show you guys Steam. But that's a game where you're racing to settle an island with other players, and a version of it called Catan Universe is available for free.
Cool.
Yeah. All right, so sorry, I'm trying to move through this a little bit quicker. Some of the websites and programs that have a lot of games but are not entirely free are really great. One of them is Board Game Arena. So, and I'm just going to show you this one because quite a lot of them require you create an account and then you pay for that account, put all your debit card information in. So nobody wants to watch me do that. So we're gonna, with this Board Game Arena, we're gonna go select a game mode, and we're gonna do a simple game. We can do a speed, which is real time, because we're gonna have a real good time. And then we're going to play with manual for this purpose so that we can choose the game table. But normally you'd want to play with friends. So I'm just going to show you the difference between games that you can play for free and games that you can't play for free. This little meeple, which is what this little token is called, indicates that you have to be a premium member in order to create a table for that game. I believe you can still join them, but in order to create your own table, you would have to pay to subscribe. But Hanabi, as you can see, which is one of my favorite fireworks games, you can go ahead and create a game and then open it up to players. And then you'll see when people start to function, to add themselves into the game. And then you'll hit play. So it's pretty easy. It has really good online functions and tutorials. So that's kind of nice. And we're not going to leave, no. We're just going to exit out and hope nobody was hoping to play with us. All right. All right, so some of the other ones that are available are Tabletopia, which for tabletop games. There's Yukata, Wataju, which is French, and I probably just butchered, I'm sorry. And then there's also Steam. So that's why I changed my share screen. So I'm gonna go over to Steam right now. All right, so Steam is a place that you can go to buy video games anyway. If you look, when you type in board games, you can have a lot of games come up. And if you notice, Pandemic is the first one that comes up. You should play that because it's an awesome game and the irony is amazing. If you look through the list, there's free-to-play games. And there's also quite a few that charge. So this is, again, in that area where if you want to invest some money in it, you can. The one that I just downloaded was Catan. Let's see, yes, I do have a lot of games, Catan Universe. So I'm gonna show you that real quick. And then, so this is the game I described earlier where you're trying to settle an island before other people. This is a really fun one and kids can play it too. So that's kind of the important thing. And then everybody can get a free Steam account and hop on there and join in the fun and video chat like we're doing. All right. Along with that, let's see. I would suggest just checking out your app store for your favorite board games. After a simple search for board games on here, I found games like Boggle, Risk, Battleship, Guess Who, Connect Four, Monopoly, Scrabble, and many, many more. So over here, did I play Werewolf with you, Jazz?
No.
Oh, man, we should have. So yeah. Werewolf is a game where you get to be a werewolf or a villager, or maybe a seer or one of the other characters.
I have played that game before.
Okay. It's also called Mafia, but there is an online version of this that you can play on your phone where you can get on there with friends and do a game. And I believe there's just chat functions in there, but if you wanted to call people while you were playing, you could also do that. So that's a really good one if you ever want to try it out. And it's also one that we have here at the library should you want to come visit and play that game later. All right, so the last thing I wanted to go over is print and play games. So if you have access to a printer, I would suggest these games. One person can set up the board or print the cards at home and the others can video in. This is another situation where you would want to block part of your camera so that you can't see what cards other people have. You can set up the cards in front of the camera so they can just see the playing area and their cards. Get creative though. My favorite is Kill Dr. Lucky. Kill Dr. Lucky is the game of Clue before Mr. Body has died. So everyone goes around trying to kill him. It is a really fun classic game made by Chia Pass Games. Yes, I am intentionally mispronouncing that. I included this resource anyway because there are quite a lot of really good games that are free to print and have really easy mechanics that you can play with kids, such as Unexploded Cow or The Great Brain Robbery, that kind of thing. Another site you can go to is called Getaway Today, and it has Would You Rather Harry Potter. So let's go ahead and play some Would You Rather, Jazz.
Okay.
Would you rather have an unlimited supply of butterbeer or chocolate frogs?
Well, chocolate frogs.
I'm with you right there.
I have chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
And my frogs.
Yeah. Would you rather fly on a broom or travel by flue powder?
Broom.
Broom, yeah. I don't know. Both of those would be rather convenient, but
yeah, the flue powder sounds like it'd be more convenient.
yeah. Well, then you have to find a fireplace you can fit in. So there's that.
Yeah, that's true.
But if you're afraid of heights, then the other one, yeah. Anywho, that's how you play that game. It's super fun, and either of you can go through that site and find lots of different themes. They even have Pixar movie themes, as well as Harry Potter, Star Wars, all that junk.
You can play that without even printing it out.
I didn't know if we'd have any Cards Against Humanity's fans viewing today, but they just made a family edition. I would suggest going and downloading it for a free print, even if you don't actually print it, because a lot of the prompts that they create on here are hilarious. So if you've been wanting to play Cards Against Humanity, but you have to wait till your kids go to sleep as an adult, you could always play this version instead. So let's see. I think I did download it earlier. So that's kind of one of the funny things that it has up there. So yeah, but if you are unaware, the game Cards Against Humanity has always been available free to print. So if you want to spend a lot of paper and ink, you can print the entire game of Cards Against Humanity and some of the decks that people have created on their own. The issue with that is that there are quite a lot of games that other people have created that have questionable content. So you can find free printables online, and you can also find the game available online for free to play in your browser. But I would definitely look through that a couple times before you play that with more people, because it's often inappropriate. So last but not least, I have Origins Game Fair. So I don't know if you know this, but it is the time of year where we would normally go to Origins Game Fair. But then we got a pandemic. So this is one of my favorite conventions. This is normally hosted in Columbus, Ohio, but this year it's online with the registration cost lowered to the total of however much you want to pay. So you can join in on this convention to get together with friends. You play and discuss games. You meet game creators. That's fun. And you get to see what new games are on the horizon coming out. And in some cases, you can support those new games and get special copies of them. So they also have comedy and music shows that go on at the event. And in the past, they've had kid-friendly halls with fun life-size board games and live-action role-playing scenarios, if you guys like LARPs. So this is Origins Game Fair. It is going to be happening June 19th through 21st in 2020. And then the in-person is going to be happening in October. Well, that is all I have for you today. Even though it's hard being quarantined at home, just remember that there are plenty of ways to still engage with people. I hope you've had fun in this little tutorial and that you have fun virtually gaming with your friends and family. All right. You want to say bye, Jazz?
Bye, guys. I had fun.